This is day 22, climbing up Roan mountain now, and just stopped and filled up some water, and it's 4.5 miles to the top of the mountain, and that's where the next water source is. So in situations like this, where I know I've got a big hard climb coming up, I don't want to carry a bunch of extra water weight, but I will need, extra water, because it's a lot extra work to climb almost 2,500 feet up in 4 miles. So what I did back at that last spring, I drank like as much as my stomach can handle. So it's about a liter, a little bit over a liter, and then I'm carrying 1 liter. So that should get me all the way up to the top. Because if I were instead to carry 2 liters, that would be an extra 2.2 pounds. Because every liter of water is 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds. So this is something you can do. Just drink like a camel at water sources, and then you have to carry less water and less weight to the next water source. My practice has been 10 minutes of a formal sit in my tent when I wake up, and then I do some walking meditation as I hike, and then I put in a kind of a spiritual book or podcast and listen to that for a while. And I've been listening to Ram Dass. This one, Ram Dass is talking about his first time taking psilocybin and how that brought out all of his different social roles he was able to let go of, and then finally brought him to himself, like a deep sense of being home within himself. And I think that's really something I've been seeking, having been adopted at 8. I've really felt quite untethered and unbound and not attached, and really there isn't a place that really has a place of feeling like home. And over the last couple of years, I've recognized that there's something really deep within that I'm trying to work with, like a really deep discomfort. And I think what it is a feeling of not having a home, not having a place, not having, any kind of roots in this world. I've used romantic relationships as like a coping mechanism, because if I have a partner, then, we have a place and there's a person that I can be grounded to and all that. But ultimately, even the best relationship is fleeting, in the sense that someone will get ill, accidents happen, lives change, people change. So even in that, there isn't any sense of permanence. I'm not saying that human connections aren't healthy or anything, I think human connections, relationships, is like the most healthy thing to seek in this world, but it is still of this world. I think what I'm truly seeking is a spiritual grounding within myself, the spiritual home, finding, my true self, my true nature, finding that place of real truth within me, finding the me that is truly me, and not all of these different aspects that I've taken on. And I think being out here in nature really helps with that. Doing the little microdoses really helps with that, which, by the way, got a 20% off coupon. I'll put down in the link below. You can just order it straight from the internet. Pretty wild. But that's what I've been thinking about today, and the practice has been very helpful. Cooking some lunch. Huge group showed up at the shelter up there. So that's Roan High Shelter. It's the highest shelter on the AT at like 6,200 feet. And I don't like to be around huge groups. They were nice and they were fine, but yeah, so I came down here, gonna cook. This jacket's been working out really well. It was $20, 9.5 ounce puffy jacket. And yeah, I've mostly been using it as a pillow, but when we're up high like this, above 6,000 feet, it's about 50 degrees today. And with the higher humidity, I think it feels colder out here on the AT. So yeah, it's nice to pop on, keeps me really warm, and 20 bucks, you really can't beat that. I'm gonna cook some ramen and make some oatmeal. That'll be my lunch today. Infuse it all with some fresh reishi. And this outer part, it's easier to eat, less tough. Now I'll just tear off a big chunk of this inner part for medicinal purposes. So you can dump hot water right in these pouches. So I only had to boil once. So this is the Roan Highlands, mostly above 5,000 feet. It's gorgeous. A bunch of rhododendrons are blooming. Orange azaleas are blooming. Really pretty day. This is Big Hunt Mountain. You can see the trail goes right up to the top there. Must have been like overcast or rainy or something the last time I came through here, because I do not remember these incredible views. But yeah, wow. Roan Highlands, definitely great place to visit if you only have a little bit of time. Finally done straddling that North Carolina-Tennessee border, and now we are in Tennessee for good. About another 100 miles, and then it'll be on to Virginia. This highway is 19E, and there are two hostels, one half a mile to the east and one like 0.1, 0.2 miles to the west. And it would be nice to go to one of those right now, get a shower, get food, but even just one night, a place like that, it's gonna be 25, 30, for the bunk. It's be another 15, 20 plus for dinner, and then probably some beers. So you can really see how going to places like that, even just for a night, really adds up to the expenses of a hike. Yep. How far is this? Like 25? 26?
26.
Okay. Well, we made about 26 miles today. Just set up camp here next to somebody mowing their lawn or something. With the goal this time, still move decently fast, but also try and stay at some beautiful spots. So this sets us up tomorrow to go hang out at Laurel Falls for a while.
and some bacon bits in the north side.
What were you telling me earlier about your realization?
Oh, you're not as remote on the AT as you feel. You feel like you're out in the forest, and then like we heard somebody's lawnmower going, and like a quarter mile down the trail there's a cemetery and then a road, and you're not as remote as you think you are.
Day 23. This is 400 miles. And it's an interesting phenomenon on the trails. I feel like the first 100 miles always takes a really long time, and then once you get past that, the miles just start rolling. And I think it's a matter of getting used to the trail, getting acclimatized to everything, getting in the groove, and then once you're in the groove, yeah, you just start flying. This is Jones Falls. It's a very short side trail, just 0.1 miles. It's all flat. Definitely worth seeing. This is Mountaineer Falls. Oh snap, there's a bear. Just looking at some campsite. Like a fairly young bear, and generally it's young bears that are nuisance bears. So there's a shelter right there, and that bear was eating something out of the fire pit. And yeah, because if a bear gets to be an old age, it has learned to avoid humans for the most part. So the young bears are the problem bears, and generally they're pretty skittish of actual people, like that one. Once he realized what I was, just ran off into the woods. You absolutely cannot miss Laurel Falls, but it's actually pretty easy to do because it makes it look like it's a side trail, but you actually need to take a sharp left and walk the steps down, and that is the official Appalachian Trail. And I'll show you why it's so amazing here in a second. Welcome to Laurel Falls. This is pretty incredible, and I had this whole place to myself. That's pretty unheard of as well. It's usually packed with people, so I'm definitely gonna go for a swim. These Gore-Tex shoes are awful, terrible. My feet are like damp with sweat all day. They hold up really well, durability-wise, but I don't know how much longer I can wear these. Feel so refreshed. So nice to wash all of that sweat and salt off of my body. And what a beautiful place. Probably one of my top 10 places on the whole trail. What a perfect day to get there. and no people, just me and Matthew. 60 and Pyro must have been a little bit ahead, so they're probably at the shelter already. One thing to note about that falls is the falls itself creates a really strong undertow that can suck people under, and it can hold them under for minutes. People drown there regularly, so you want to be careful. And in general, when you're through hiking, I try not to swim out very deep because lots of through hikers will just get cramped when they're swimming. Something is like about the exertion or the going from the hot to the cold or any of that. But yeah, hikers have drowned in very shallow water when they cramp up. So that's my rule of thumb. I try and get in, but not go very deep, not swim a whole bunch, just to be safe. Trail goes right along the water's edge.
Gotta make sure it lays good.
And then did go through a phase for a while where all their commercials were like low-key sexual.
And then they made the green M&M not sexy anymore.
Really?
Yeah.